Welcome to the shadow where gods are born in silence and beasts are carved from pressure, where failure is not feared but used like fuel. Welcome to the pit where the lost crawl through blood, spit, and broken dreams and still rise like hellfire. This isn't for the soft, this isn't for the safe, this is for the ones who looked into the void and said, not today and not ever. This is for the ones who had no map, no mentor, no mercy, and still moved like thunder and struck like fate. This isn't hope, this is war. And in this war, BRO rolled the dice and got straight sixes. He didn't beg for favor, didn't pray for luck, didn't draft 10-year plans. He just moved. Raw, reckless, ready. Because when the world boxed him in, he burned the box and laughed with the ashes still on his tongue. You see, people think life is about strategy, about aligning stars and stacking odds. But bro, he spat on the odds. Bro looked life dead in the eyes and said, roll it. And when they did, he didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't even breathe, because his entire soul was already betting on himself. He didn't have blueprints or backup plans. He had chaos in his heart and madness in his grip, and that was enough. Because real power doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Real power becomes the moment, and that's what he did. He became the storm they feared but never saw coming. Every roll of the dice was a dare to fate. Every move he made wasn't logic. It was instinct and pure venom. BRO said, a plan, and still clutched, because plans are for the ones who fear uncertainty, for the ones who think life will follow the script. But legends are never scripted. They are torn from flesh and fire. And BRO knew this, so he didn't wait for signs, didn't sit and overthink. He moved like a shadow in rage, like a whisper with a sword. And when they said he was reckless, he smiled, because they didn't know that recklessness is just courage without apologies. They didn't know that the most dangerous man in the room is the one who has nothing left to calculate, only things to conquer. They didn't know that the dice he rolled were loaded with pain, past and purpose. He walked into rooms where no one knew his name and left with the room whispering it. He entered battles with nothing but bruises and walked out with crowns, not because he followed the path, but because he became the path. Every loss he ever took was loaded in the chamber, and every win he got was pulled from the mouth of hell itself. And you wonder why he moves like myth, why every word he speaks hits like prophecy, because you weren't there when he had nothing and still showed up. You weren't there when his bones ached and his blood screamed and he still smiled. You weren't there when he had to face demons with no sword, only grit, and goddamn refusal to die. Bro rolled the dice because the game was rigged anyway, so he made it his. They gave him nothing, so he made everything. They doubted him, so he devoured them. They laughed at him, so he silenced them. And the worst part? He didn't do it for revenge. He did it for truth. For the truth that somewhere inside you too is that same madness, that same burn, that same rage to rise without reason, the same willingness to throw it all into the fire and say, if I burn, but I will burn brighter than the stars they buried me under. Because BRO isn't a person, he's a reminder. A reminder that you don't need permission, you don't need perfection, you need pain and persistence and the purest form of self-belief that says even when I lose, I still win, because I don't stop. People who need plans are people who fear chaos. But BRO, he danced in chaos and made it a symphony. He took the unknown and used it as a ladder. He stared down the barrel of failure and said, pull the trigger, because you'll never kill someone who already died to their old self. You'll never stop someone who already walked through hell, barefoot and smiling. You'll never beat someone who doesn't care about the scoreboard, only the clutch. And when the clock hit 0 and the world thought it was over, that's when he started. That's when the silence cracked, and the noise he made wasn't just a win, it was a warning. Burrow said, "A plan," and still clutched, because sometimes the plan is the chaos. The moment you stop waiting for the perfect time is the moment you become time itself. That's when you move, not because you're ready, but because waiting is just fear in disguise. That's when you drop the playbook and pick up the pain. That's when you let the world laugh, because in the end, they always watch the ones they mocked rise. And they always wonder, how? How did he win? How did he survive? How did he clutch with no plan, no prep, no guide? And the answer is always the same, because he refused to break. He was broken before. Now he's just rebuilt. Sharper, harder, colder, real. The dice weren't luck, they were truth. They were the moment everything they said, he couldn't be collapsed. They were the signal that all their logic and faith, moves and soft dreams meant nothing when someone with will enters the game. You can't program this, you can't calculate it, you can't clone it. What BRO had was something too wild for systems, too brutal for comfort, too real for trends. He didn't post about it, he didn't ask for credit, he didn't wait to be seen. He just showed up again and again and again until they had no choice but to watch, until they had no choice but to believe. Because what they don't tell you is this: success doesn't always look clean. Sometimes it looks like bleeding knuckles and dirty wins. Sometimes it looks like failing forward and rising wrong. Sometimes it looks like saying a plan and charging anyway. And that's the part they skip. That's the part they hide. Because if you knew you didn't need the rules, you might break them. And if you broke them, you might find out you're unstoppable. And they can't have that. They can't have you free. But bro broke them all. And not for rebellion, but for redemption. Not to destroy, but to build. Something raw, something true, something his. So roll the dice, all 6 sides, no fear, no script. Because sometimes in life you don't need to be careful. You need to be certain. Certain that no matter what comes up, you'll flip it in your favor. Certain that if you lose, you'll still learn. Certain that if they take everything, you'll come back with more. Because you are not your plans, you are not your failures, you are not your doubt, you are your will. And if your will is unshakable, you become untouchable. Just like bro. Just like the ones who never waited to be chosen, because they already chose themselves. Just like the ones who looked at life's chaos and said, "Deal me in. I don't care what's on the table. I am the game now." Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them call you crazy. Because one day they'll call you something else, unstoppable. One day, they'll say, they always knew you had it. But you'll know the truth. You had nothing except the courage to roll the dice and bleed for it. And that was everything. That was always enough. And when you clutch without a plan, they'll call it luck. But you'll know better. It was war, and you won. Welcome to the dark. Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the legend. Bro rolled the dice and got straight 6s. Bro said, a plan, and still clutched. And now it's your turn. So now it's your turn. Not to copy him, not to chase his flame, but to find that fire in you, to let it roar through your ribs, and make peace with the fact that nothing is guaranteed except what you're willing to take. This world isn't made for dreamers. It's made for doers, the ones who sharpen their pain into blades, the ones who stare at the abyss and dive in anyway, the ones who don't ask for the rules because they never plan to follow them. And I need you to understand something clearly and painfully. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hold your hand through the dark. No one is going to hand you the map to your greatness, because there is no map. There's only instinct and blood and scars and the choice to keep going when every bone in your body says stop. You don't need 10 steps, you need one decision. One moment where you say white and go all in. 1 second where you stop analyzing and start acting. Because hesitation is a slow death and fear is a liar wearing a suit and tie. You don't need to figure it all out, you need to move. That's what BRO did. That's what you'll do. The plan was pain and he ate it. The strategy was survival and he outlived it. The test was time and he beat it. And now it's you. All eyes on you. All weight on you. And you're feeling it now, aren't you? That pressure. That burn in your chest. That fire in your throat. That's not fear. That's your rage waking up. That's your soul telling you it's time to fight. There will be nights you scream into the void and nothing answers. There will be days you bleed into your own hands, and it still isn't enough. There will be moments when you lose again, and again, and again, and still you don't stop, because every failure is just another brick in your empire. Every scar is just another story in your legacy. And when it all adds up, when the chaos clears and the noise dies down, all that's left is you. Not the version of you they wanted, not the version of you that played it safe. The real you, the one they never saw coming, the one who clutched without a plan, the one who rolled straight sixes because he willed it. Let them underestimate you. Let them put their money on someone else, because you're not built for betting, you're built for breaking odds. You're not here to play games, you're here to end them. And even if you lose today, even if you crash and fall and burn into ash, you rise. You always rise. Because rising isn't something you do, it's something you are. And when that's the case, no force in the world can hold you down for long. They can stall you, they can trip you, but they can never stop you. Look around. Everything you fear, everything you doubt, everything holding you back is already weaker than your will. You've just been trained to forget that, conditioned to hesitate, taught to stay small, but not anymore. From this moment on, you move like a storm. You think like fire. You act like you're already chosen because you are. You don't need their permission or their path. You make your own, brick by blood, brick by sweat, brick by every time they said you couldn't, and you did it twice. And if you ever feel like you're slipping, if you ever feel like you're fading, if you ever feel like you're one breath away from breaking, just remember, bro didn't have a plan either. He just had the rage to win, the hunger to clutch, the guts to roll the dice with nothing in his pocket and still walk away a goddamn king. That's what real ones do. That's what you will do. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be relentless. You don't need it to make sense. You need it to matter. You don't need to know how. You just need to start and never stop. Let the world throw everything at you. Let it break your bones and bury your name. You'll build a throne from what's left. You'll rise from the cracks. You'll roll again and again and again until every move you make forces the universe to fold around you. Not because you had the best plan, but because you refuse to lose. So this is the call. Not a whisper, a roar. Not a suggestion, a summon. Rise, bleed, win, break, build, burn. Rise again, roll the dice, and whatever it shows, make it yours. Because BRO did it, and now it's your turn. You stand now at the edge of your own test. No script, no guarantees. Just the sound of your own heartbeat and the weight of your own name. This is not where you wait for clarity. This is where you create it. This is not where you ask the world what you're capable of. This is where you show it. Because while everyone else is waiting for a signal, for approval, for perfect timing. You've already taken the first step into the unknown, and that's the difference between the ones who talk and the ones who become. That's the difference between those who exist quietly and those who walk through storms and leave marks. BRO didn't roll the dice because he was lucky. He rolled because he was ready. Ready to rise, even if it hurt. Ready to lose and learn. Ready to walk through fire, not around it. And the fire didn't consume him, it defined him. He didn't wait for ideal circumstances. He moved through chaos with certainty. He moved through failure with resilience. Because he understood something few people ever realize. Life does not reward the careful. It rewards the committed. It rewards the ones who dare to build while everyone else hesitates. It rewards the ones who never needed certainty to take the first step. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to feel strong every day. What you need is one thing: the decision to keep going, no matter how it feels. The choice to keep pushing when there's no applause, no crowd, no praise, just you against the voice that says stop. That's where greatness is forged. Not in the spotlight, but in silence. Not in glory, but in grit. And no matter how loud the world gets, no matter how many doubts surround you, never forget this. Every great moment you've ever admired started with someone who had nothing but the will to try. Bro became who he was, not because everything went right, but because he kept going when everything went wrong. He didn't need the odds in his favor. He became the factor that turned the odds. He didn't count on the perfect plan. He moved with imperfect courage, and that was enough. That was the plan. Courage, consistency, conviction. He didn't just roll the dice and hope for sixes. He earned every single outcome. Because life will not give you what you ask for politely. It gives you what you demand from it with action, with pressure, with passion. And let it be known, you don't need to look like anyone else. You don't need to follow their path. You don't need to match their timing. Your story is yours, and your climb is not a race. What matters is that you climb. What matters is that when the world told you to wait, you moved. When it told you to quit, you stayed. And when it looked like you had nothing left to give, you found more. That's what they will never understand about you. That's what makes you different, not the outcomes, but the inner fire that refuses to go out. And now, as you feel that pressure building, the resistance, the discomfort, the weight of uncertainty, remember this: pressure is not your enemy. It is the signal that something powerful is forming. Diamonds are made under it. Legends are revealed through it. You are not breaking. You are sharpening. You are not drowning. You are learning to breathe deeper. You are not lost. You are simply walking a road few have the strength to follow. You are becoming, and every moment of doubt is another opportunity to prove to yourself that you are not finished. Every setback is a test not of your ability, but of your refusal to be defined by failure. Every obstacle is a gatekeeper asking a simple question: how badly do you want it? And if you can answer that not with words, but with action, if you can keep showing up when there's no comfort, no applause, no guarantee, then you are already further than most will ever go. Bro didn't win because he had everything. He won because he used everything. Every setback, every loss, every scar. He didn't run from the pain. He used it. He didn't wait to be ready. He became ready by walking through the fire. That's the path. That's the truth. And that truth is now calling you. Not gently, not softly, but clearly, boldly, without apology. It's time to rise without needing permission. It's time to move without waiting for confirmation. It's time to act like your name means something, because it does. Every time you choose effort over ease, discipline over comfort, purpose over pleasure, you write that name deeper into the world. You carve it into the stone of your own story. You create a legacy, not built on luck, but on intent. The moment you stop chasing perfection and start embracing pressure, the moment you stop playing small and start stepping into your full force, that's the moment life begins to respond. Not because it's easy, but because it's real. And the world always moves for those who are too focused to be shaken, too disciplined to be delayed, too certain to be silenced. So take one more step, and then another. Don't look back, don't wait, don't wish. Just work. Build with your hands, fight with your heart, and walk forward with your eyes locked on what will be, not what has been. This is your era, this is your war. And when they ask who you are, you won't need to speak. They will see it, they will feel it, because you've walked through the same chaos they feared and built something unshakable inside of it. You are the one who keeps showing up. You are the one who keeps creating momentum when everything says stop. You are the one who rolls the dice, not because you expect to win, but because you refuse to quit. This is the path of the uncommon. This is the legacy of the relentless. This is what it means to rise without a plan and still prevail. The world remembers those who went where no one else dared. The world follows those who didn't wait to be ready. They moved anyway. Bro rolled the dice, and now so will you. Not to gamble, but to prove that the fire inside of you cannot be extinguished. That your journey is not about being certain, it's about being committed. And in that commitment, you become untouchable, not perfect, not invincible, but unbreakable. The rest of the world waits. You do not. You move. Because your future is not waiting for the plan. It is waiting for you. You move because stillness is surrender, and time does not wait for those who hesitate. You move because the longer you delay, the more life slips through your fingers like sand. You move because deep down, beneath all the noise and doubt, there's a fire that refuses to die. That fire is not asking for instructions. It's demanding action. It's not waiting for a map. It is the compass. That fire is the part of you that knew before anyone told you who you were supposed to be, that you were always meant for more. There is a moment in every journey where the pressure breaks most people, where they either turn back or break down, where the voice in their head grows too loud and says, maybe this isn't meant for you. That moment has come for you before, maybe more than once. But here you are, still standing, still moving. And that proves something they never saw, something they'll never understand. You didn't survive by accident. You endured by choice. And that choice is your power. That choice makes you dangerous in the best way. The world respects results. But the journey, the lonely hours, the silent work done with no recognition, that's what makes those results real. You want to build something great? Then you must suffer through seasons of being unseen. You must climb in the dark. You must trust the process long before it ever rewards you. Bro knew this. He didn't need applause to keep going. He didn't need followers to feel valid. He worked while no one was watching. And when they finally looked his way, he didn't have to talk. His results spoke for him. Every decision you make when no one is looking matters more than anything you post or proclaim. Because character isn't built in front of the crowd. It's built in quiet defiance of comfort. It's built when you get up again, with tired bones and a heavy heart. It's built when you do what's necessary without needing to feel like it. You aren't supposed to feel ready every day. You aren't supposed to have certainty. You're supposed to choose to keep going anyway. That choice creates momentum. That momentum becomes identity. That identity becomes destiny. You are forging something with every hour you give to your growth. You are shaping something stronger than success. Discipline. Because success can be taken. Circumstances can change. But discipline is forever. It doesn't bend to doubt or fatigue. It doesn't rely on emotion. It is the one force in this world that remains when everything else falls apart. And if you can build it, truly build it, it will carry you when motivation fails and fear screams the loudest. Bro, didn't wait to feel good. He didn't need the weather to be perfect or the path to be clear. He trained in the storm. He got stronger through the setbacks. Every failure didn't weaken him, it trained him. Every loss didn't break him, it taught him. And that's the mindset you must build. You don't win by avoiding pain. You win by enduring it. You win by standing in the fire and learning how to breathe through the smoke. The day will come, sooner than you think, when everything you've done in silence will rise to the surface. When the pressure you endured becomes the power you carry. When people ask how you did it, and the truth will be too long to explain in one sentence. Because it was the long nights, it was the early mornings, it was the repetitions when your body ached, it was the decision to keep showing up. That's the story, that's the truth. And they won't understand it fully because they didn't feel the weight you carried. But you will know, and that knowing will be worth more than gold. You're not just chasing success, you're becoming someone who doesn't need luck to succeed. Someone who doesn't rely on chance. Someone who knows that even if the odds are against them, even if the situation is stacked and the stakes are high, they will rise anyway. Not because of magic, not because of miracles, but because they refuse to break. That's the type of strength BRO carried. That's the strength you are building now. One step, one breath, one decision at a time. And in the end, when the dust settles and the noise dies down, you won't be remembered for how easy it looked. You'll be remembered for how unshakable you were, for how you stood tall when others fell, for how you kept moving when everything inside you said to stop. And maybe they won't understand it, maybe they won't believe it, but it doesn't matter, because this is your journey, your story, your war, and your win. There is no perfect time, no flawless strategy. The truth is, you only ever need one thing, the willingness to begin and the grit to never stop. And if you have that, if you protect that with everything you have, then there's nothing this world can throw at you that will hold you down for long, because you know something most don't. That pain is part of the path. That fear is not a reason to retreat. It's a signal to focus. And that failure is not the end. It is only a lesson, a mark, a signpost on the road to something greater. So keep walking, keep climbing, keep rolling the dice. Not because you think the outcome will be easy, but because you know you'll adapt to whatever comes. That is real strength. That is what BRO showed. That is what you will carry. When they said he was unqualified, he trained harder. When they said he had no chance, he moved anyway. When they said he was out of time, he created more. That's the energy you must bring. Not arrogance, not empty confidence, but conviction. A quiet, unwavering certainty that even if you fall 100 times, you will rise 101. And each time, sharper than before. Each time, more focused. Each time, more prepared to win. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to break limits, to push further than you've ever gone, to discover that there is no such thing as the edge. There is only the next level, and the one after that. And if you are willing to pay the price, discipline, sacrifice, consistency, there is nothing that can stop you from reaching it. They will call it destiny, but you'll know the truth. It was always just you showing up, holding the line, rolling the dice, again and again and again, until the whole world had no choice but to respect it.